41. Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon grant Israel virtually government-wide access to their cloud and artificial intelligence technologies, enhancing data processing, decision-making and surveillance and analysis capacities. In October 2023, when the Israel internal military cloud overloaded, Microsoft, with its Azure platform and the Project Nimbus consortium, stepped in with critical cloud and artificial intelligence infrastructure. Their Israel-located servers ensure that sovereignty and a shield from accountability under favorable contracts offering minimal restrictions or oversight. In July 2024, an Israeli colonel described cloud tech as a weapon in every sense of the word, citing these companies. 42. The Israeli military has developed artificial intelligence systems such as Lavender, Gospel, and Where's Daddy to process data and generate lists of targets, reshaping modern warfare and illustrating the dual-use nature of artificial intelligence. Palantir Technologies Inc., whose tech collaboration with Israel long predates October 2023, expanded its support to the Israeli military post-October 2023. There are reasonable grounds to believe Palantir has provided automatic predictive policing technology, core defense infrastructure for rapid and scaled-up construction and deployment of military software, and its artificial intelligence platform, which allows real-time battlefield data integration for automated decision-making. In January 2024, Palantir announced a new strategic partnership with Israel and held a board meeting in Tel Aviv in solidarity. In April 2025, Palantir's chief executive officer responded to accusations that Palantir had killed Palestinians in Gaza by saying, "Mostly terrorists, that's true." Both incidents are indicative of executive-level knowledge and purpose vis-à-vis the unlawful use of force by Israel and failure to prevent such acts or withdraw involvement. 43. Israel, as the startup nation incentivized by the post-9/11 global securitization boom, has received a significant boost through the genocide. It ranked first globally for the number of startups per capita, with 143% growth in military tech startups in 2024, and with technology comprising 64% of Israeli exports throughout the genocide. Civilian guys, heavy machinery in service of settler colonial destruction. 44. Civilian technologies have long served as dual-use tools of settler colonial occupation. Israeli military operations rely heavily on equipment from leading global manufacturers to unground Palestinians from their land, demolishing homes, public buildings, farmland, roads, and other vital infrastructure. Since October 2023, this machinery has been integral to damaging and destroying 70% of structures and 81% of cropland in Gaza. 45. For decades, Caterpillar Inc. has provided Israel with equipment used to demolish Palestinian homes and infrastructures, though through both the United States Foreign Military Financing Program and an exclusive license requisitioned by Israeli law into the military. In partnership with companies such as Israel Aerospace Industries, Elbit Systems, and Leonardo DRS, Inco-owned Radar Electronic Industries, Israel has evolved Caterpillar's D9 bulldozer into automated, remote-commanded core weaponry of the military, deployed in almost every military activity since 2000, clearing incursion lines, neutralizing the territory, and killing Palestinians. Since October 2023, Caterpillar equipment has been documented as being used to carry out mass demolitions, including of homes, mosques, and life-sustaining infrastructure, raid hospitals, and burying alive wounded Palestinians. In 2025, Caterpillar secured a further multi-million-dollar contract with Israel. 46. The Korean HD Hyundai and its partially owned subsidiary Tucson, alongside the Swedish Volvo Group and other major heavy machinery manufacturers, have long been linked to the destruction of Palestinian property, each supplying equipment through exclusively licensed Israeli dealers. Volvo's licensee is an OHCHR database-listed company, and together they own Merkavim Transportation Technologies Ltd., which produces armored buses sold to service colonies. Since at least 2007, Volvo machinery has been used to raise Palestinian areas, including in East Jerusalem and Masafer Yatta. For over a decade, HD Hyundai machinery has been used to demolish Palestinian homes and raise farmland, including olive groves. After October 2023, Israel increased the use of the equipment of those companies in the urban destruction of Gaza, including in flattening Rafah and Jabalia, after which the military obscured their logos. These companies have continued supplying the Israeli market despite abundant evidence of the criminal use of this machinery by Israel and repeated calls from human rights groups to sever ties. Passive suppliers become deliberate contributors to a system of displacement. B. Replacement. 48. As corporate actors have contributed to the destruction of Palestinian life in the occupied Palestinian territory, they have also helped the construction of what replaces it, building colonies and their infrastructure, extracting and trading materials, energy, and agricultural products, and bringing visitors to colonies as if to a regular holiday destination. Post-October 2023, these activities have sustained unprecedented growth in the settlement enterprise, with corporate entities continuing to power and profit from the creation of conditions of life calculated to destroy the Palestinian population, including through the near total cutting off of water, electricity, and fuel. Construction, home on stolen land. 49. More than 371 colonies and illegal outposts have been built, powered and traded with by companies, facilitating the replacement by Israel of the indigenous population in the occupied Palestinian territory. In 2024, this intensified after the administration of colonies moved from the military to the civilian government, and the Ministry of Construction and Housing budget doubled with $200 million allotted for colony construction. From November 2023 to October 2024, Israel established 57 new colonies and outposts, with Israel and international companies supplying machinery, raw materials, and logistical support. 50. Caterpillar, HD Hyundai, and Volvo excavators and heavy equipment have been used in the construction of illegal colonies for at least 10 years. The German Heidelberg Materials AG, through its subsidiary Hanson Israel, has contributed to the pillage of millions of tons of dolomite rock from the Naharaba quarry on land seized from Palestinian village in the West Bank. In 2018, Hanson Israel won a public tender to supply materials from that quarry for colony construction and has since nearly exhausted the quarry, prompting ongoing expansion requests. 51. Various companies contributed to developing roads and public transport infrastructure critical to establishing and expanding the colonies and connecting them to Israel while excluding and segregating Palestinians. The Spanish Basque Construcciones Auxiliar de Ferrocarriles joined a consortium with OHCHR database listed company to maintain and expand the Jerusalem Light Rail Red Line and build the new Green Line at a time when other companies had withdrawn owing to international pressure. These lines include 27 kilometers of new tracks and 50 new stations in the West Bank, connecting colonies with West Jerusalem. Dawson and Volvo excavators and machinery have been used, and Heidelberg subsidiary supply materials for a light rail bridge. 52. Real estate companies sell properties in colonies to Israeli and international buyers. The global real estate group Keller Williams Realty LLC, through the Israeli franchisee KW Israel, has had branches based in the colonies. In March 2024, Keller Williams, through another franchisee, Home in Israel, ran a real estate roadshow in Canada and the United States, jointly sponsored with several companies developing and marketing thousands of apartments in colonies. The grip on natural resources, the incubator of conditions of life calculated to destroy. 53. Since 1967, Israel has exercised systematic control over Palestinian natural resources, building infrastructure that integrated its colonies into Israeli national systems and entrenched Palestinian dependency on them. 54. When Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant ordered a complete siege on Gaza on 9 October 2023, instantly cutting off water, electricity, and fuel, this engineered dependency, designed to displace and control life, was operationalized for genocide. Those supplies have never been fully restored, contributing to the deliberate creation of conditions of life calculated to bring about the destruction of Palestinians as a group. This is also why the grip on resources in the West Bank tightened after October 2023 cannot be viewed in isolation from the destruction unfolding in Gaza. Water, 55. Israeli forces Palestinians to purchase water sourced from two major aquifers in their own territory at inflated prices and with intermittent supply. The Israeli National Water Company, Mekorot, has a water monopoly in the occupied Palestinian territory. In Gaza, more than 97% of water from the coastal aquifer does not meet the water quality standards of the World Health Organization, making residents dependent on Mekorot pipelines for most of their drinking water. For at least the first 6 months post-October 2023, Mekorot ran its Gaza pipelines at 22% capacity, leaving areas such as Gaza City without water 95% of the time, actively aiding the transformation of water into a tool of genocide. Electricity, gas and fuel, 56. International energy companies have fueled the energy-intensive Israeli genocide. Reliant on fuel and coal imports, Israel maintains an integrated energy infrastructure serving both Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, seamlessly powering illegal settlers while controlling and obstructing Palestinian access. Gaza's power plants provided just 10 to 20% of Gaza's electricity needs, leaving it heavily reliant on fuel for generators and 10 Israeli supply lines. Since October 2023, Israel has cut energy to most of Gaza. Without electricity or fuel, most water pumps, hospitals, and transport reach the brink of total collapse. Collapsed sanitation systems have contributed to a resurgence in polio, and vital desalination plants were forced to shut down. 57. Coal for electricity to Israel originates primarily from Colombia. 60% of Israeli coal imports in 2023-2024. United States headquartered Drummond Company Inc. and the Swiss-based Glencore plc are the primary suppliers. Their respective subsidiaries own the mines and the 3 ports involved in the delivery of 15 coal shipments to Israel since October 2023, including 6 shipments after Colombia suspended coal exports to Israel in August 2024. Glencore was also involved in shipments from South Africa. These shipments accounted for 15% of Israeli coal imports in 2023 and 2024. 58. The United States Chevron Corporation, in consortium with Israeli Numet Energy, a subsidiary of the OHCHR database-listed Delek Group, extracts natural gas from the Leviathan and Tamar fields. It paid the government of Israel $453 million in royalties and taxes in 2023. Chevron's consortium supplies more than 70% of Israel's energy consumption. Chevron also profits from its part ownership of the East Mediterranean gas pipeline, which passes through Palestinian maritime territory, and from gas exports sales to Egypt and Jordan. A Gaza naval blockade is connected to Israel, securing the Tamar gas supply and the East Mediterranean gas pipeline. At a time of increasing brutality, the British company BP plc is expanding involvement in the Israeli economy, with exploration licenses confirmed in March 2025, which allow BP to explore Palestinian maritime expanses illegally exploited by Israel.